So, thanks. Hello, friends. Thanks for joining the second session of APEC Digital Network Conclave Global Water Management Conclave, being organized by APEC Digital News Network with Ministry of Jal Shakti, the National Water Mission, Namami Gange, and we have got partners from all over the world, all over the state, and industry partners as well as supporting partners. Now, after insightful and very important inaugural session where we have seen the presence of eminent policymakers from Government of India, global participation, and think tanks and NGOs who work in the water sector. Now we move on to the side of the industry. What are their thoughts? What they are doing? For this, we have a special presentation by Tejas Construction and Infrastructure Private Limited (TCPIL). Uh, this company is working in water sector for last 2-3 decades, and we have with us Mr. Prashil Agarwal, Director TCP. Welcome, Mr. Prashil Agarwal. Please start your presentation.
So, thanks a lot, Savik for giving us the opportunity to present today. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending our presentation. I am Prashil Agarwal, Director of TCIPL. I will be taking you through the challenges faced by water supply projects in India and the advanced solution identified and implemented by us to address the challenges. I would give you a brief about the company, and then I would take you through the solution that we have implemented using a case study of water supply project in Ambikapur. We are a ISO 9001:2015 certified company managed by IITians and NITians. We have been working in the infrastructure sector since 1974 and in the water sector since 1998. We have completed 14 water supply projects and are currently executing 9 water supply projects in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh state. In order to address the common challenges in life cycle of water supply projects, we have identified and implemented state-of-the-art technology-based solutions. Our solutions include GIS, BIM, drones, PLC SCADA, lamella clarifiers, advanced formwork, zero discharge WTP, and virtual site tools using virtual reality headset and 360 cameras. So we have implemented all these solutions in our project at Ambikapur. Ambikapur is one of the oldest city in Chhattisgarh state. We are working on the augmentation of the existing water supply scheme of the city under Amrut Mission. The work includes construction of jack well, 15 MLT water treatment plant, ground level service reservoir, 4 new overhead tanks, 220 kilometers of pipeline, 15,000 consumer connection, 28,000 water meters for new and existing connections. The complete scheme will be automated using PLC and SCADA. Major components of the scheme have been commissioned in the record time of 2.5 years, and the entire scheme would be completed in the next 1 year. This has been achieved only with the strong support and timely decision making of Ambikapur Municipal Corporation officials and State Urban Development Authority, Chhattisgarh government. So, GIS is Geographical Information System. The basic function of GIS is to add location to any information that is available with the user. Google Maps is a very beautiful example of GIS-based tool where location and other information of various buildings, roads, rivers, etc. is shown on the map. I'll take you through various examples of how GIS can be used and how we have used GIS in our Ambikapur project. For designing of any augmentation project, knowledge of existing pipe network including the location of existing pipeline, type of pipeline, size of pipeline is very critical for designing the additional network. During designing of Ambikapur, we did not have the information of existing pipeline network, and hence we had to manually take trial pits to identify existing pipeline and other details of the network, which took substantial time. You can see how a digitized network of existing pipeline looks in the GIS on the left image. The GIS-based map of existing pipeline and underground utility is very critical for augmentation of existing network. Similarly, designing or converting hydraulic design of all pipeline network in GIS gives better visualization of the proposed network and helps in improving the planning and laying of the pipeline. We have developed a solution to capture the details of property owners using a mobile app-based GIS tool. It captures the location data along with the other details of consumer as required by the client. The details are then digitized on a high-quality satellite image or drone-based map, which provides a very good visualization of the consumers, which can greatly help in installation of house service connection and during operation maintenance phase of the scheme. We have also developed a solution to capture and digitize the details and images of connection and consumer meter installed at each property and linking the same with the consumer database. This provides a very good documentation and helps the client as well as the contractor during execution of the work, operation maintenance phase, and consumer grievance redressal. It is also important to create the as-built drawings of the pipeline along with the details such as location of the laid pipe, size of the pipe, depth at which the pipe is laid, specials, valves installed on the pipeline, etc. In parallel to execution of the pipeline work, you can see the screens of the app used by us for capturing the data and creating the as-built drawings. It helps in providing real-time visibility of the executed and remaining work to the senior management of the at the contractor side, as well as to the senior decision makers and client and government side. As you can see in the image on the left-hand side, various attributes of the pipeline data are captured by us, and same can be seen on the GIS-based application. GIS-based drawings also help during execution of the project in identifying the gaps that may be kept in the pipeline because of various issues faced during execution of the network. This is a very critical issue in the water supply, as many times this information is only known to a particular engineer or a subcontractor who may stop working for the contractor before completion of the project. The GIS-based drawing greatly enhances the efficiency of operation maintenance stage by giving easy to understand visualization of the network, specials, and walls to the O&M staff of the contractor as well as client. Integration of the maintenance data and consumer complaint data with GIS database helps in better visualization and addressal of this issue. As you can see in the images, the details of consumer and history of complaint raised by consumers can be digitized and referred to in a GIS platform, giving better visualization to the operation maintenance staff. Similarly, digitization of the complete data will help local authority whenever they go for further augmentation of the water supply scheme. Now we come to BIM. BIM, that is Building Information Modeling, is creation of a digital model or a digital twin of existing or proposed structure. We have extensively used BIM in our Ambikapur project. Creation of BIM model of structure based on the CAD drawing helps in scrutiny of the design by giving better visualization of the proposed structure. As you can see at the bottom right corner, this enables the design team to better scrutinize the structure, identify duplication or extra structural members, and also the clash between different disciplines such as MEP and structures. This helps in optimization of the structure and saves cost and time for construction of the structure. The BIM model also helps in estimation of quantities of various materials required for a structure. As you can see in the image, material quantities for a column are estimated using the BIM tool. It helps in better planning of procurement and supply of material and deployment of manpower, and also in reconciliation of material for each structure. BIM model can also be integrated with the project schedule. As you can see in the video, it gives better visualization to planning and execution team on how much work would be completed on each day. This substantially improves the planning and execution of the project. Many times, openings that are required to be kept in structure are not shown in the structural drawings. As can be seen in the image, the opening for installation of pipes, as shown in the BIM model, are not shown in the structural drawings. Many times, due to limited understanding of the site engineers, these openings are not kept in the structure during construction, which then requires breaking or cutting structures, which reduces the quality and increases the cost and execution time. This can be completely avoided using BIM models. Highly accurate as-built models for structure can be created using LiDAR scanner. Here you can see the Faro Focus S350 LiDAR scanner that we have. Separate digital layers of structural, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing components can be created in the as-built model. These layers enhance the visualization of concealed components such as piping or electrical lines during operation and maintenance, which saves cost and time in case of any issue during operation and maintenance. Now we come to drone-based survey. So high quality aerial images and videos can be captured using drones. These images can be stitched together to create orthomosaic of the area. 3D models of the structure can also be created using photogrammetry softwares. I'll take you through various examples of how we have used drones in our project. So, drone-based survey and creation of base map of the area under the project can be completed within days. The same survey and preparation of survey drawing by traditional method, such as total station, can take months. This is an example of drone survey we recently did in Aurangabad for an area of 40 square kilometer. Survey of similar area by traditional method takes about 2 months. This project was completed in 9 days. By stitching images captured by drones, a high-resolution base map can be created. The base map can be utilized in a GIS platform. Pipeline and other layers can then be added to it. It gives the base map with the most recent data, which can greatly help in planning and identification of obstacles. As you can see in the image, identification of encroachment on the path of the pipeline can be done in the planning stage itself by visual inspection of the path of the proposed pipeline. Mitigation measures can be initiated in the planning stage itself, resulting in saving of cost and time. Aerial images can also be used for a quick review of the site to check stacking of material, safety measures, and current physical progress on the site. A time lapse can be created using images taken periodically, daily, weekly, or monthly, etc., to check the physical progress of the site over a time period. It provides better review and supervision of the project. As can be seen in the images, 3D models created using the images captured by drones can be used for quick dimensions and volume estimation using photogrammetry software. This improves the site monitoring efficiency of the contractor. So, we'll talk about PLC SCADA now. So, we have completely automated the functioning of water supply scheme with manual override using PLC in SCADA. Supervisory control in data acquisition. SCADA is a control system architecture comprising computers, network data communication, and graphical user interface for high-level process supervisory management. Programmable logic controllers are hardware devices which help SCADA to interface with process, plant, or machinery. I will take you through how we have implemented PLC SCADA in our project. So the automation starts right from headwork, where operation of pumps and valves is controlled through PLC. The level of water in jackwell is recorded through radar level transmitter. The pressure at which water is pumped is recorded through pressure transmitter. The flow of water is recorded by flow meters. The data is transmitted by central SCADA by RTU installed at jackwell. The entire operation of water treatment plant is automated using PLC and SCADA. At the inlet of the water treatment plant, the turbidity and pH of the raw water is recorded by pH and turbidity transmitters. The alum and lime dosing in the raw water is then adjusted by system dynamically based on these parameters. This eliminates the possibility of excess dosing using chemical. Excess dosing of chemicals and leads to cost and saving. Okay. The differential pressure transmitter installed on each filter calculate the pressure drop across the filter. On detecting pressure drop higher than the preset limit, the SCADA initiates automated backwash of the system using air blowers and backwash arrangement. All valves of the entire WTP, air blowers and backwash pumps are controlled by SCADA through PLC. The operation of clear water pumps and valves are also completely controlled through PLC. The level of water in the clear water sump is recorded using ultrasonic level transmitter, and the pressure at which the water is pumped is recorded using pressure transmitter. The quantity of water supplied in the system from pumping station is measured using flow meters. To maintain equitable water supply to all OHTs, we have installed flow control valves based on Israeli technology at the inlet of each OHT. The operation of flow control valves are automated. It takes flow and pressure data of the inflow of water and the level of water in the OHT as input. Based on these inputs, the opening of flow control valves is adjusted so that the required flow and pressure is maintained for each OHT. Use of flow control valves prevent overflow of OHT as well as helps to maintain the required pressure of water throughout the system to all overhead tanks. Flow meters are also installed at the outlet of each OHT as well as the inlet of each DME. The data of these flow meters are as well as the level and the pressure data of each OHT is transmitted to the central SCADA through RTU installed at each OHT. Using PLC SCADA, the entire system can operate the scheme 24/7 with minimal or no supervision and manual intervention. So, creation of DMA in distribution. Non-revenue water, commonly known as NRW, is a big challenge before public bodies. For many urban local bodies, NRW is as high as 60% in India. Ambikapur is also no exception to this and has an NRW of 55%. District metered areas is one of the most promising methods implemented globally for improving the water supply qualitatively and quantitatively and reducing NRW to sub 20%. As seen in the image, one zone is broken down into 3 DMAs. Each DMA can be isolated from others in two manners, either with the use of isolation walls at its boundary or by cutting off pipes connecting the DMA to other DMA. Water meters are installed at the inlet of each DMA for monitoring of water supply to identify leakage and control the NRW. In Ambikapur, 37 DMAs were created for 16 zones based on the elevation of the area and distance from OHT. Rider lines from overhead tanks were provided till a high elevation point in each DMA. The branching of network was started from the same point to provide equitable water to all connection in each DMA. Salient feature and achievement of the design include minimum pressure of 12 meter is achieved at most of the nodes. Hydraulic gradient less than 5 meter per kilometer is achieved. Max velocity below the limiting value of 1.8 meter per second is achieved. On the commissioning of the complete network, non-revenue water is expected to reduce from current 55% to 20%. Traditionally, a single clariflocculator is provided in the water supply scheme. A typical clariflocculator is shown in the image on the left side. It requires large area for construction. During the maintenance of the clariflocculator, the system has to be stopped and the raw water is directly sent to filters bypassing the clariflocculator, resulting in incomplete treatment of water and reducing the quality. In order to overcome this shortcoming of traditional clariflocculator, high-rate tube settler process is now widely used in drinking water sector. The functioning of a typical tube settler unit is shown in the video. Use of lamella modules increases the total area available for particles in the untreated water to settle substantially, which reduces the land required for construction of clarifier and flocculator units by about 84%. In Ambikapur, the 15 MLD unit is constructed on a land size of 16 meter by 16 meter. For similar clariflocculators of the same capacity, land area required is about 40 meter by 40 meter. Also, we have constructed 2 clarifiers and 2 flocculators of combined capacity of 15 MLD instead of a single unit, which solves the problem of bypassing the unit completely during the maintenance, which is common in the case of traditional clariflocculators. Construction of OHTs require labor. Construction of OHTs require labor with specialized skills. Due to limited availability of the skilled manpower, the construction of OHTs can become bottleneck for projects where large number of OHTs are to be constructed in a relatively short span of time, which can result in cost and time overrun for the project. In order to overcome the same, we have identified advanced formwork for the construction of column and formwork based on Spanish technology for construction of container of OHTs. Then this formwork reduces the requirement of traditionally skilled manpower for construction of OHTs. It also reduces the time required for construction of OHTs and improves the quality. In traditional water treatment plant, about 3% of inlet water is wasted due to backwash of the filter through sludge of the clariflocculator. For a water treatment plant of 15 MLD capacity, similar to Ambikapur, the quantity of 3% daily wastage of water is about 4.5 lakh liter per day, which is substantial loss of water over lifetime of the water treatment plant. In order to eliminate the wastage and achieve zero discharge water treatment plant, implementation of water recirculation system is necessary. As can be seen in the image, the recirculation system consists of thickened sludge sump, where sludge from lamella settling tank is collected. The sludge is then pumped to the sludge thickener, where PAC dosing is done in the sludge. The water from the sludge is sent to wash water recirculation sump. Thickened sludge is then stored in thickened sludge sump. Finally, the sludge from thickened sludge sump is pumped to centrifuge, where the remaining water is separated from the sludge and sent to wash water recirculation sump. This sludge is collected and used as a manure. And finally, we are coming to virtual site tours using a 360 camera. We have also implemented a solution to get a 360 camera and VR headset set based on the base walkthrough of the site. The video is an example of how a walkthrough is conducted. As you can see, the staff at the site carries a 360 camera to capture the current state of site. The user can get a 360 view of the entire area by simply panning the video. Walkthrough can be done live as well as pre-recorded, and it can also be used for creation of photogrammetric 3D models. This gives complete walkthrough of sites to the user remotely. This has also helped our management to monitor the execution of the work during lockdown. Thanks a lot, everyone. Signing off, Prashil Prawal. This video has been played at 3x speed. Yes.
Thanks, Mr. Prashil Agarwal, young director from IPL. I think whatever work you're doing in various parts of Maharashtra and other parts of the country in the water sector have been seen by stakeholders now. We are live in Facebook and YouTube also through our APIC page. And definitely, government policymakers who are working in this field will be surely in touch with you. And can you and government can collaborate more uh, for the growth of water sector in India. Thanks a lot, Mr. Prashil Agarwal. With this, we'll take a short break of 10 minutes, and we'll be starting the next panel discussion where we will have a representation of state governments and also industry and global, where policymakers, industry leaders, and experts will be talking on various aspects on the initiatives being taken in the various state governments world over and what industry is thinking about that. We'll be back after 10 minutes. We'll be starting our next panel discussion at 1:30. Do join us live again. Thanks a lot, Mr. Prashil Agarwal.
Thank you. Thank you.